Now joining us, Sporting Kansas City head coach Peter Vermes. Peter, thanks for taking the time to join us today. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of this quarantine and what's going on, how difficult has this been for you?
For me personally, it's been tough. I'm not one to stay at home and, be, if you will, quarantined. So it was very difficult. I tried to make the most of it, but probably spent more of my time trying to figure out a way how to get back on the field than stay at home. So it hasn't been easy, but I will say that, I've kept in touch with the players and the staff, and at the same time, I think those guys have all done, the entire staff and then the players have done a tremendous job with trying to stay connected and keeping with their profession, if you will.
Peter, we watched the Bundesliga return over the past weekend. Obviously, 5 substitutions is a huge change to the normal 3. I'm for it as long as it's temporary because it gives managers like you an opportunity to allow the players to play themselves into fitness. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's actually very needed. I don't know how you are going to have quality games and at the same time that you're not going to put your players at risk. I mean, the great thing is I look at it like this, and all due respect to the goalkeeper, we're not talking about his fitness in the game, right? We're talking about the 10 players. So imagine if you can sub 5 of your players in your first game, no matter when your next game comes, you can actually rotate the group around in a way that you could start another 5 players and then you have 5 subs again. You're actually, as you stated, you're building your team back into it, and I think in a much safer way, and that'll be a big help, I think, moving forward.
Well, and especially, Peter, because some states are operating on different levels than other states. So you've got to give everyone equal opportunity to try to do this. So this mini tournament, whatever the competition may be in Orlando, I've said this numerous amount of times with SportsCenter the last 3 or 4 weeks. Something's better than nothing. But is this type of competition the right thing for MLS to do at this time?
Look, without really having anything else, we need to get back playing games. So it's the best competition that we have available to us. So it's the one that we have to embrace and go play. Great. We have group games and they all mean something towards our regular season. It's not going to be perfect for everyone. And I mean, I'm talking about the individual teams and the competitive aspect of it, meaning that, hey, some teams are going to say, hey, I had to play this, or I had to do this, or I had to play at this time or that time. We're all just going to have to accept it, and we're going to have to get on with it, and we're going to have to play. But I would say that having talked to most of the coaches, most of the CSOs in the clubs, I think everybody realizes that it's time for us to get back on the field, and we have to do whatever we can to start playing games. And once we do, we're going to have to take it from there.
Couldn't agree with you more. Final thought, any safety concerns from your point of view that all of us on the outside are not thinking about?
I don't think so. To be honest with you, my biggest concern is the amount of time leading up to the first game from a physical perspective for the players. Because I want to make sure, because, we haven't even talked about the other thing. You go to Orlando, it's hot. And we're not. And normally what happens is, you start in the winter months and you slowly build into that. And you probably have 12, 15 games under your belt for it starts really getting to be the dead of summer for all of us. And so you've built yourself up to that. Now it's more of a matter of surviving the heat as opposed to also being able to get 90 minutes fit. We're going to try to do both. The 5 subs are going to help, but, that's the thing that we're going to have to be, I think, the most intelligent about. Water breaks, all that stuff is going to be a help to the overall physical conditioning of the players, I believe.
I couldn't agree with you more, Peter. While everyone's talking about the tournament and whatnot, I think the biggest concern is the competitive integrity of the games and what that happens. Before I let you go, after the tournament, I'm thinking you're going to now be having, 5, 6 games in your own stadium with no fans. Is that the plan, or have you heard something different?
So this is the way that I'm looking at it, and I don't think anybody knows at this time, but this is the way I'm looking at it. I think that what you're going to have is if we go into this tournament in Orlando, which, I'm the optimist, so I'm going to say, yes, we're going. It's time that we're gaining here, right? So we're gaining time by getting back to full team training. We're now going to start to play some games. And then in that time, what I'm hoping is that things are going to get better in each individual city, which then means things open up and the restrictions start to become lessened in all the areas, and we find more opportunity to do more things. Who knows? Maybe it's without people in the stands. Maybe it's with some, but you could only have a third of your number, whatever that might be. I just think the time is going to be in our favor, and I look forward to seeing what's going to happen, because I believe it can only get better from those 5 games down in Orlando.
Yep, couldn't agree more. Good to see you, Peter. Thanks for taking the time, and it's nice to have you working again, because I know you're driving your family absolutely insane being at home.
Yeah, my wife does not like me being at home on a regular basis, so I appreciate it, buddy. It's always good seeing you, T.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.